What's up, bro?
Yeehaw, man. What's up?
Yippee Kanye.
What, you been watching Yellowstone or what?
You know what? I do watch Yellowstone, and I
It's a good
felt like
show.
it was my time. It was my moment. You know what I'm saying? But nah, but seriously though, actually, I wore this hat for this event we did. It was like a Wild Wild West event that we did over at the church, right? So we did like a remake of the movie Wild Wild West.
Yeah.
And I had the Will Smith, the Will Smith hat. You know what I mean? So I had to get in there and bust it out just for fun.
Hey, man, I'm all about it, man.
You know what I'm saying? Hey, so did you hear about Xfinity is introducing 10G? We
I
skipped
think that's why the aliens
six,
are here.
right. We skipped 6, 7, and 8 and 9. We jumped right to 10. And it's crazy though, because 5G has already been proven that apparently it like causes cancer and like destroys civilizations or whatnot. At least through all the conspiracy networks. And so now we jump into 10. And I'm curious, as 10G so fast that it'll like, you know what I'm saying? What does that mean? Like it's so fast that it just I don't know, puts the movie on before you even think about it. Like it just knows what you're thinking. Like what is
I'm
that?
not. I'm not a tech savvy person, so I don't really understand it. I just know that like the
Yeah.
5G works really well. Like I know having 5G like back in the States, like my phone would work really fast. But then everything works fast after being out here. Everything's so slow here. Like the
Yeah.
internet's slow, everything's slow.
Yeah.
So like I'm even just running off of data back in the States. I'm just like, man, look how fast everything is. Like you click on something, it loads immediately, as opposed to like over here where it's a 50-50 shot. You may not make it to the web page you're going to. Um,
Right.
and stuff like that. So I don't really know.
Yeah. Yeah. No,
And
I
technology's
don't
like
know, man. I never
I'm
really.
waiting for. I was looking into the Starlink, Elon Musk's Starlink. Like some people are starting to buy that. You know, can you hear me now?
Hey, say that again, bro. I lost you for a minute. I don't even know how to wear this right. I keep feeling like it's
Oh,
wrong.
I say, I said, Starlink it's like run off of a satellite, so you can get it like pretty much anywhere in the world now. So I
Hmm.
feel like it's pretty, it's pretty cool. Like I think I like to get. I think I'd like to wait for it to be out for a little bit so I know that it works well. And they launched it in Ukraine, so they could all use that over there.
Right.
So I guess it works pretty damn well. The whole country's running a war off of it. And people can
Yeah.
make TikToks in the trenches. So
Yeah.
it's
Exactly.
got
Yeah. Hey, check me out. Look. Duh, 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 duh,
yeah,
duh.
it's got to be
Yeah. That's crazy, man. Well, the world has
yeah,
changed,
it's a
hasn't it?
hmm definitely has. Well,
That's
I mean, like
crazy, man.
they got
I
they got a lot of stuff going on right now. A lot of stuff going on right now.
oh
You
man,
got
man,
you got them
man.
train you got them you got them train wrecks happening back to back to back in the U.S. The one I think it was Ohio, South Carolina, and there was a third one.
Yeah, it's so crazy you brought that up. I literally was just talking to somebody about that the other day. What makes it worse, but here's the part that makes me so frustrated, is the fact that for those who don't know, side note, for those who don't know, because you wouldn't know, because the mainstream media is not hardly talking about it, which is crazy. It's not getting the forefront attention that it should, is the one in Ohio, from my understanding, is in like an environmental crisis now because you're talking about, I think it's something like it's like a Chernobyl level event where you have chemicals that were on this train that, and I use Chernobyl, that might be a little exaggeration, but it's basically an environmental crisis where the train has derailed, which, oh, by the way, there's talk that questioning whether it was an accident or if it was not an accident, but that's a whole other conversation for another day. But they're saying that this train that crashed in Ohio had all kinds of crazy chemicals and all types of stuff that's like basically a terror bomb for the environment, for the ecosystem, and for they have the city, the closest town has been evacuated, and they can't go back. Like they cannot go into the town or go into the city. They're waiting. I guess they're waiting to be cleared
Yeah,
for approval to go back into the town because it's that toxic right now.
well, the chemical that's spilled, I can't remember what it's called. Something, it's some kind of acid, but when it gets set on fire and put up into the atmosphere, it turns into the type of gas that they used in World War One.
Jeez.
So like, yeah, and then they're gonna probably let these people back in too soon. Um, and we're just going to have a bunch of people get sick and stuff for over the next few years.
Right.
You know, and then
Right.
what gets me is like, when was the last time we had like a major train wreck? It's been a while. You know what I'm saying? Then all of a sudden we have 3 within a few days.
Back to back to back. Right. That doesn't seem questionable to you. That doesn't.
You know, and we joke around about like, oh, it's the government, it's the government, it's the government. I mean, it might not be the government, but there's somebody doing something, because there's a lot of, you know, there's too many coincidences that happen all at the same time for things to go wrong.
Right.
You know what I mean? So you have so all of a sudden you have you have UFO sightings all over the U. We shot down 3. Apparently, we've shot down 3.
All of a sudden, right? It's suddenly, yes.
We got no pictures, we got no videotapes, we got no audio. Or what they release is very, very minute. We can't find any of the wreckage, and all of that. So that makes me think, like, what else is going on in the world that they want us to look away from? You know, then all of a sudden we have train wrecks.
What they distracted? Yep.
You know, because we ain't scared of aliens anymore. They let aliens out the bag back during 2020 during COVID. You know, so people wouldn't pay attention. And now I'm just like, I don't even give a shit. You know, like, I don't care about the UFOs. Like, I want to know how much money we're sending to Ukraine this month. You know. I want to know what else is going on in the world. Just here in Iraq, like we're sitting and waiting because we all believe that the Iranian government's going to wait for the U.S. to be pulled into a major conflict, i.e., either, you know, over somewhere in Europe with Ukraine or in Asia with China, which we're doing treaties with. I think it's the Philippines again. I think it's the Philippines. They want to put more U.S. bases to start basically ringing military bases with their allies around China. You know, in the sea. So once again, we you know, when we look at Ukraine and what NATO's done to, you know, ostracize Russia over the last 20 years and push them into conflict, are we once again going to push another major, you know, adversary into conflict when there wasn't a conflict before?
Right.
We need like the U.S. needs to mind its own business.
We're stoking the flames of chaos. You know what I mean? We're think about it. It's like we talked about before, the Roman circus. It's just like, it's distractions. It's like, think about this. You got cities in peril. You got economically, we are in peril. You know what I mean? We turn around and go over the seas, we're in peril. You know what I mean? Everywhere you turn around, there's perilous times everywhere. But yet, we were looking at these random balls flying around in the sky, random lights. And the news media and what's so crazy, here's the other side that they're doing. Have you seen what's going on in Hollywood? Like, the stuff I'm talking about, like outright, straight up, you know, like demonic, like regardless of what you believe, it's just outright uncomfortable. Like the stuff that they're pushing now. You know,
I saw a couple of those clips from the what was it, like the Super Bowl, or it was either the Super Bowl or Grammys, where they
the Grammys.
The Grammys, some kind of weird stuff like that.
Basically, Sam Smith.
You know, I wonder if it comes down to, because there's so many conspiracies, if Hollywood is trying to just, instead of hide it, flaunt it so hard in people's faces that it makes you feel crazy to think that there's anything that they're hiding.
Right.
If you
hide in plain sight.
Yeah, I took a course when I was getting my degree in counterterrorism. I took a course in disinformation, and one of the easiest ways to use disinformation is to take true information or partly true information, and you basically flood people's minds with half truths and mostly truth to hide the bigger deceit that's going on. You know, there was another judge ruling that they were going to release more information regarding Ghislaine Maxwell and all that's going on with with Epstein Island and everything like that. It wasn't that long ago that they said that if they released the actual list of names, that it would cripple our government. We'll release it.
Release it. Right.
Release it. You know, what are we waiting for?
Well, because it's too many important. Because remember, it's not. My bad. I mean to cut you off, but I was thinking. Remember, it's not what was done. It's who's involved. Like that's the reason why you're not getting the information. That's why they're not telling you these things. That's why they're not talking about it. That's why we got 7,000 broadcasts about random stuff and Kanye West and all these random people, but you only got like 10 minutes of broadcast talking about Epstein or the court case with Maxwell in the first place. That's why they don't say that stuff. That's why think about it. They redacted or they pulled like 200 pages of evidence before the case even went to court. Like, think about that. And they like, that should tell you that there's a problem here. That should tell you that we are in a position right now in our country, in our nation, and really in our world where what we're being told is being openly manipulated. Like it's right in
Oh
front
yeah.
of your face. It's being openly manipulated for the purpose of managing and controlling the masses because there is a greater agenda. There is a greater political stance. And this is not about Republicans or Democrats or none of that stuff. There is a far greater political situation. There is a power situation that's happening. You know what I mean? And I think that's where people are being so distracted by all this other stuff. People are getting so distracted by all these different, things that we're walking right into the trap. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I think over the last, I'd say, so, honestly, since I've really been paying attention, I'd say like the last 8 to 5 years, right? There's been a large push to polarize people in different, especially politically here in the United States between Republicans and Democrats. And what that does is it makes you basically blind to what your party does. So everything your party does is right. Everything the other party does is wrong. There's no middle ground. There's no compromise. It's 100% to and fro. You see it every time the president gives a speech, even when he's stumbling and bumbling through it. The Democrats are cheering and clapping their hands, even when he's literally not even putting a sentence together. Or when he's inflating lies and stuff like that. You saw it when Trump was in office as well. You saw it when previous presidents were in office, but it's really been since I guess it's the Trump era, since he won the election, there has been this huge shift in the United States to politicize and weaponize the media, stories, sensationalizations getting worse. You can't even trust the news anymore. Because if you watch one news story on 4 different news stations, it's 4 different stories told from 4 different point of views.
Right.
And the problem is it's really hard to get people to stop thinking along the party lines because everybody just assumes that if you're a little bit more liberal than other people, then you're a Democrat. And if you're conservative, then you're a Republican. So there's animosity between the two teams. It's almost like we're playing a Super Bowl every 4 years when we have an election.
Like the Super Bowl of politics.
And if your team doesn't win, then we just, instead of like listening to the other side and figuring out how we can better help the entire country or by default the world, we just tear each other apart until the next election cycle. And then obviously you're going to start seeing all the other things that are cool come into town. Like there was a shooting, there was a school shooting in Michigan, I believe it was.
Michigan State,
Michigan State. I hate to say, not that many people got shot, and I don't know exactly what happened, but that's a lot of hearts. Why are all them hearts popping up? I love you guys too. A lot, not that many people died, but obviously now guns are going to be back on the ticket because two things that gets everybody in the U.S. jacked up is guns and abortion. All right, so don't be surprised if in the next couple months we have another big round of this is what's going on with abortion around the country, or LGBTQ is going to get something else is going to happen. BLM is probably going to pop back up. The Proud Boys, the KKK, like everyone's going to start getting sensationalized as we get closer to the election or to the election year. So next year, you're going to see an unbelievable amount of propaganda that's going to start coming out from both sides. Instead of people getting up there and spitting facts, they're just going to get up there and spit bullshit. They're just going to try to tear down the other side. Nobody has a plan. You know what I'm saying? Like nobody has a plan. They just want the votes. So once they get the votes, they don't care. Just like we don't care here.
It's the social societal. It's the social societal cycles. You know what I mean? It never fails that when we get close to the election, like you said, we get close to the election, all of a sudden you're going to start seeing all this craziness. You're going to start seeing all the propaganda. You start seeing the campaigns, the slogans, we stand for the people, we fight for the people, we're for the people, we're all this kind of stuff. It boggles my mind because think about this, right? I use church as an example, okay? Like, people will go, like, say people want to go to church, right? But they meet somebody who's supposed to be a church-going person, and they're one of like the worst human beings you've ever met in your life, right? And as a result of that, your decision is, I ain't going to church because these folks is crazy, right? But I always find it funny because we don't apply the same logic to the government. Is that
Yeah. Yeah.
you can look at your party and people are crazy. And they're some of the worst human beings doing some of the crazy stuff you can think of, but we will undyingly go to the end of the earth for our party or for our cultural group, or whatever the case is. And then to me, that shows you the brokenness of the psyche. That shows the way that was a loyalty to a fault. That shows you how deep we have gone as a structure in a society, how we have lost sight of common sense. Like I said, common sense is no longer common.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And the reality is, this is like, we will never be able to move forward if we don't open our eyes and see what's right in front of us. You know, that's
No, we're tricking ourselves. We're not only tricking ourselves, we're being tricked. You know, I was talking to somebody the other day, one of my friends here. He has zero social media. He's been like that for years. He's just not one of those people. He doesn't like it. He doesn't even watch the TV in his room. Hats off to him. That's great. You know, everybody's got their thing. How they insulate themselves from all the BS, you know. And he says like not having social media actually hinders people nowadays because you're not up on the latest BS. Your interactions with people always in some way or form, you talk about some form of social media. Hey, like, let me get you this, let me get you that. You know, can I follow you on this? It's becoming it's one of those things. It's an everyday, and it's going to be it's a part of our lives now. Like, it's not going anywhere.
right.
And you know, one thing he said, the reason why he doesn't like social media is because, you know, it gives people a false sense of what the world really looks like. And like, I just watching, you know, just scrolling through on stuff at night before I go to bed and stuff like that. Like, I watch stupid videos on like TikTok and stuff like that.
Right.
You know, mind numbing stuff.
Right.
And when you really get to the heart of it and you start looking at it, like there's so many different conflicting messages about every single thing that you see. Like one thing that I follow a lot is, like, you know, a lot of gym stuff, a lot of people working out. They got this one dude, his name is Joey Swole. He's out there like trying to change gym culture, make it more positive. I think he's cool. But like, you know, there's this whole movement of chicks in the gym. They're filming themselves and then they film, you know, somebody looking at them or walking by.
Dang, boy. Hey, everybody who's watching, your internet cut out, bro. It cut out again.
Anyway, so like these girls are in the gym, you know, filming themselves, and then they put people on blast, some dude that watches them or sees them or whatnot. And it's just like, so your whole job, your whole thing is you want people to watch you in the gym or watch you post a video of you working out in your specific clothing. But if someone watches you in real time, it's like they've broken the rule. You know what I'm saying? Like, they can't look at you in the gym because you're doing it to be looked at. Like, that's the reason why you're doing it. The whole point of fitness is to look fit and show it off. That's why people go to the gym. You don't go to the gym so no one sees it. You know what I'm saying? I don't understand the logic there. And let's be real. The gym clothes, especially for women, are becoming more and more supportive of showing your figure off. All right. If you're a dude with big arms, you show off your arms. You wear a smaller shirt. You show off your chest. You show off all that hard work you've been doing. Women do the same. It's just, it's different when they don't. You know, you don't get to pick and choose when people look at you. That's the thing. Like, we need to get over this. That like you automatically get some sort of privacy out in the real world. Okay, you don't get any privacy when you're out in public. There's no privacy. Like, everything you do is going to be seen.
So here's another thing. Here's another dynamic to that, right? And so, and ladies, I don't want to get the wrong idea. I do understand that there are, you know, creepers out there. You know what I mean? There are guys who are crazy, who are weird. I get all that. But guess what? Don't get it twisted. There's some ladies who are creepers too. But y'all got a different standard. So that's a different thing for another day. Because we don't even want to talk about. We don't even want to talk about how much male sexual harassment goes paid attention to. Nobody cares about men who get sexually harassed or looked at or dealt with, because we're supposed to accept it, because that's just the way it is. You know what I mean? You're a man. You're a man. Deal with it. You know, if a girl comes and grabs your crotch, guess what? That's just the way it is. You know what I mean? Like, You know, and it happens more often than people realize. But like I said, men, you know, you can't say that. You can't come out and tell somebody that happened. Like, hey, can you not do that? Because then what you get called? You get called gay, or you get called what's wrong with you, or whatever. It's like, no, I like my space just like you like your space. I don't have a right to just grab you. You can't just be grabbing me. You know what I'm saying? Don't touch come up and just start putting your hands on me. Like if I did that to you, it'd be a whole case and I'd be under the jail. So, but that's neither here nor there. What I was gonna say earlier though was the fact that think about it. One dynamic that's new is there were never people recording themselves working out before until the last 5-10 years. You know what I mean?
5 years, maybe, yeah. Like
5 years, maybe.
not like in the numbers,
Right?
not the numbers that you
Right.
see.
Where I mean, people are coming in with tripods and setting up cameras and doing all this kind of stuff. Back in the day, you think about it. You went to the gym. Guess what you're doing? You're working out. You sweat. You're grunting. You're lifting.
You got your boys.
Right.
Yeah.
You got to get your angle right, and you're doing this. And think by default, a guy who's working out, it's by default that you see somebody setting up a camera or doing something, you look without even, you're drawn to seeing what's going on over there.
Yeah.
And then, you know, that guy or whatever, he gets tagged as a creeper because he keeps looking over here. Well, here's the thing. You put a camera in there, you're half naked, just being honest. I love my ladies. I think y'all are beautiful. But you coming in there, you got all your stuff. Look, listen, I know this is controversial, and I might mess around and get canceled for this. You know, they may come get me. I might have to have a whole lot of conversations. I love my ladies. But listen, I tell people all the time, I tell my teenagers this when I teach them, right? I say, listen, ladies, if your bait is your bottom, don't expect to catch anything more than bottom feeders. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, that's.
I'm just saying, like, if you come into this environment as a man, I'm in here working out, I'm doing my thing, I'm minding my business. But it is natural for me to be attracted to whatever you are putting on the table. If you walk in front of me or walk past me and you got, you know what I'm saying? It's like when you're talking, you have a conversation with a young lady, you know what I'm saying? And she, you know, has her cleavage, you know, out and up and, you know, all up here. And it's like my eyes are up here. I get that. But so are you know what I'm saying? So are your girls. You know what I mean? They up here looking at me too. And I'm trying my best. A real respectful dude is doing everything he can to not disrespect you with his eyes. But it's very difficult if you put everything that he likes in front of his face. It's like, you know, I think there's just
I mean, I hear you. I honestly feel that you need to pick one. Either you want to be looked at or you don't. If you don't want to be looked at, don't dress to be looked at. You know what I'm saying? Like when you think about like everything that we look at, right? Like in the military, dude, we have flashy dress uniforms. We want people to look at us.
Right.
You have social media and you take a picture of yourself, you want people to see it. I had an ex one time. Like she's like, I don't like social media. I just got on it just to kind of keep in touch with everybody. So she posts a picture of her looking over her shoulder in the mirror with her ass out, saying, "Don't talk to me. I'm too busy." So what you think everybody did that ain't seen her on social media in 2 years did? Start talking to her. Like I don't get it. Either you want to be looked at or you don't. If you don't, then you take the steps not to be looked at. If you want to be looked at, then you're obviously taking the correct steps because people are looking at you. Me and you have a show. I want people to see our show. I'm going to post it everywhere. That's the whole point. You know what I'm saying? It's really crazy to me, especially you go back to the fitness people. Like it's crazy to me that you're going to wear skin tight clothing. You know, your muscles are out. You'll see dudes in the gym want to be looked at. That's why they take their fucking shirts off. That's why they're posing. Now, they may not be posing for everybody right then and there. They're prepping for a show or they're checking out the physique. They don't care if people look at them. The whole reason you bodybuild is to build your body to be more aesthetically pleasing, not only to yourself, but to people that look at you. So if you are in fitness and you are fit and you look good, then you should take it as a compliment that people are looking at you. And if you're in a public gym, people are going to look at you regardless. Now, is it all good? I don't know. I'm not inside of everybody's head, and especially older people, man. I like the gym back home where I work at. There's a bunch of like older people that go in there and like get on the treadmill and they lift a little bit of weights, and they're just there, man. Like, let them do their thing. This whole era is new to them. You know what I'm saying? It's new seeing all these people do all this stuff now.
Yeah.
And fitness influencers, man, we're just so many damn. I'm so tired of seeing like a 22-year-old kid like, this is what I did to get. You're not in shape, bro. You're 22, bro. I used to drink a 30-pack and then run 9 miles the next day in the military, and then work out that night, and then do the whole thing over again. I did that for like 2.5. I was in the greatest shape of my life, bro. You're just young.
Yeah.
All
Yeah.
right? I don't want to see that. You know what
Yeah.
I want to
Yeah.
see? I want to see
Go take your, yeah. Hey,
I want to see
take
the
your fitness.
45-year-old
Go.
still grinding
Right.
in the
No.
gym after 25 years. That's the guy I want to see. All right.
Right, exactly. Let's see how you, and then my thing is this, a lot of it, the reality is a lot of it is all aesthetic. You know what I mean? A lot of it is all like, oh, look at me, I have a 32 pack and I've got all these little tiny muscles and I can flex this part of my chest and do all this kind of stuff. And it's like, okay, but what if you come out to this PT session? Let me see how long you last.
Well, I mean, it's all about what you're training for, like
Right.
I do more powerlifting and bodybuilding. So like when I talk to like my CrossFit friends, they're like, "Hey man, you want to go like run the Murph?" And I'm like, "No, I don't want to put a vest on and go run a mile. Like I feel like that's an absolute waste of my time when I can be in there fucking bench pressing or squatting or doing something that I feel is productive. I think everybody's got their niche, whatever they're training for, and that's fine. But people are gonna look, we have very few, like the male to female ratio here on the where I work is very obviously lopsided. It's a man's world out here. So the very few women that work out in our gyms, the reason we used to have like nice glass like mirrors that you can see, it's safety to have good mirrors. Well, now we can't have those because they complain that too many guys were looking at them in the gym. So now we got these like weird ballistic mirrors that make you look all oblong in them, and you can't even use them to work out. I'm like, well, these are worthless. You might as well just take